Good afternoon from San Francisco. We're at shortly after 1300 here at the Beach Street Yacht Club in the beautiful Marina District. My co-host Julia Vadekint is alive and well and spunky today.
Yes.
Must have had a good night's sleep last night. Is that the case, Julia?
Not at all.
Not at all. I'm your host, Tom Eamon. Welcome to the show. Our show number 897. Let's get right into it. For today on the starting line, not a huge show. It's a bit of a slower time of the year in the yacht racing world. Happy Friday. Happy World Opposite of Julia Day.
Oh, yeah?
Any idea?
No.
Happy Opposite of Julia Day. Happy New Year, everybody. We have greetings from Fozy around the world who sent in notes over the weekend, or during the week, I should say, I guess, including a special AAAA. Alistair's awesome Aussie anecdote came from Alistair Murray overnight, and we'll run that at the top of the show instead of down in the C block as we normally do. Mm-hmm. We will remind you again of the big announcement. We're going to tease it. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's not our announcement, but there will be a big announcement next week on Wednesday the 7th, confirming a previous, Julia.
Oh, good.
One hears.
I can hardly wait.
That we've been telling the gang about.
Now I have to only discover which one hears.
Well, it's a one hears. Big one.
Oh, good.
Our feature today is the Rolex Sydney Hobart Yacht Race, the Tattersall Cup, which is the handicap or the uncorrected time under IRC. The overall winner, it goes to Min River, wider than a... Yes. I'm not sure that's true. And by the way, we'll ask you if anybody knows what the Min River is. Mm-hmm. It's not an Australian river, by the way. It's a historic, their win on Min River, the yacht, because it's the first double-hander and first female co-skipper ever to win the Tattersall Cup, which is emblematic of the overall for the Rolex Sydney Hobart Yacht Race. We'll ask you, correct or crotonic was the jury's decision in regards to the protest, which ended up being a protest by the race committee, not Min River. Min River withdrew their protest. Race committee versus BNC My Net Leon. And is a rule change needed? We'll discuss that at some length today. We have a lot of views from people all over the world over the past 3 or 4 days, Julie, as you will have seen in the Super Fozy thread.
Right.
Coaching corner, John Emmett takes a stroll in front of the beautiful Royal Yacht Club of Tasmania, pondering the rules and the importance of our yacht racing rules, the racing rules of sailing. Finally, World Sailing has put out a nice year in review 2025.
Good.
Video, and we'll look at it and ask you, did they miss anything?
I'm sure they did.
I don't know. I'm not so sure they did. We'll check in with the Fozy, Gordon Smith from Denmark, who watched the King's speech.
Yes.
Did you watch the King's speech?
I did.
The link? And from Freddie, as I irreverently call him, King Frederick, who is a yacht racer, is a sailor, and is the fairly newly installed King of Denmark. Mm-hmm. Greetings from New York City. Peter Taylor says, Rick Banner, hi-ho from chilly Southwest Connecticut, HNY, y'all. Happy New Year, y'all. Mary Longpree down in SoCal to wishing us Happy New Year from a wet and drizzly Newport Beach. It was nice to see Mary down there at the club and her husband for a brief moment when we were down there for the big holiday boat parade, the 117th edition of that fabulous Newport Beach parade. Ed Worley, hello, everyone. Happy New Year. There's Lance Burke, you spunky people. Clayton Embley and normally in Kentucky saying the same. Peter Rechenberg in Geelong, just outside of Melbourne in Oz. Greetings from the Gold Coast. Greg Phillips. Thierry de Jong is down in SoCal. The Dockside Curmudgeon, J.K. Kitson, a.k.a. Dockside Curmudgeon. Greetings from snowy and cold Michigan. All of you who were cheering for Texas in the, what was that bowl? The Citrus Bowl, whatever that bowl was, that Michigan lost badly to Texas. Congratulations to those of you cheering for the University of Texas. He is going to do the annual transition, that is J.C. Kitson, to snowbird and head back to Florida to the Panhandle. for some warmer weather. Alistair Murray, the President Emeritus of Australian Sailing, saying goodbye from Meetung, his holiday home out east of Melbourne in Australia. Welcome, everybody. We got a great show. As we said, and of course, the last leg, but also we have our This Day in History. We have our Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, and of course, our fabulous Posey.
Of course.
Cheering. Happy New Year. I sent this around to a fair few number of you, and I was I was surprised, Julia.
Yes?
How many people did not know those code flags?
I know.
I'm talking about sailors. It's
I know.
one thing to send them to non-sailors, and they kind of, what is that? Oh, it must be even being a yachty and
Right.
HNY. And then Mike Mahoney here of St. Francis Yacht
Yes.
Club very cleverly sent out in numeral pennants 2026.
Oh, I didn't see that.
He sent out 2026. I didn't stick it in the show.
Yeah.
But remember, there are first, second, and third repeaters in these naval flags. And if you're repeating the third letter,
Yeah.
you use the third repeater,
Yeah.
and that means 20, third repeater 6, because you're repeating the first two.
Oh, yeah.
That confused a lot of people.
Yeah.
And we'll have to check with our Naval Academy graduate, with J. Frederick Bland, to be sure he had that right. This is right. Hotel, November, Yankee. Happy New Year, everybody. We hope you had a great New Year. Tragic news. I bring this up not because if it bleeds, it leads, but just tragic news from a great yachting nation from Switzerland, where this horror movie of a fire in the ski resort bar. And, I don't know if Claire Harrington's watching, or any of you from Newport who have been in the Boom Boom Room. This bar apparently they have a big downstairs underground kind of a bar dance club, which is like the Boom Boom Room at the Clark Cookhouse on Bannister's Wharf in Newport. And apparently these, they lit these sparklers off. They're attached to the top of the champagne bottles. It looked like Moet bottles, and it caught the ceiling, from all the reports I'm reading this morning, caught the roof or the ceiling of that club on fire, and it was a basement and tough getting out of there. 40 dead, 115 injured. Sad, sad news. And all of you in Switzerland who are, and beyond, who are just, in a, what's the word I want, Julia, are just...
empathizing.
Well, empathizing and more. But Switzerland's President Guy Parmelin described the deadly incident as one of the worst tragedies our country has ever known.
Could be.
King Charles called it, there are a lot of Brits over there, called it a horrific disaster. The country will hold 5 days of mourning. That was news this morning. And the cause of the blaze remains unclear, but witnesses reported seeing sparklers or candles in bottles in the basement bar. And if you're wondering where this is, this took place right over here, east of Geneva, south of Bern. And the Gstaad Yacht Club, of which I'm proudly one of the 10 founding members, is right there in Gstaad. So it's not too far away. This is high-end, beautiful skiing country, as most of you will know. And then, of course, you've got the great yacht club, Société Nautique Genève, over here in Geneva. And Montreux, the site of the famous jazz festival and beyond, at the eastern end of Loch Lomond of Lake Geneva. So sad news, and we empathize more than emphasize. We're just very sorry to learn of this tragedy in the country, the great sailing country of Switzerland. I mean, how many countries have won the America's Cup? New Zealand, Australia, the U.S., and
Switzerland.
Switzerland, indeed.
Much to everybody's surprise.
Yeah, tough stuff. Philip Laffin back saying Happy New Year from Davis Island down in Tampa, Florida. John Schaefer is in Annapolis after making that delivery to, where was that? Did he go to Aruba or to someplace down in the Caribbean? Ryman's checking in from Cape Town. Ted Ryman, Alex Kent. Yeah, we've seen it all. Sad. Would some kind person pass me a whiskey? I'm starting 2026 with the same bug I finished in 2025. That's Pindar.
Oh, my.
over there in the comments, Julia. Andrew Pindar. Hope you're feeling better, Andrew. Alistair Murray, Peter Reckenberg. In continuing Tom's education, you need to teach him how to pronounce Geelong. How do you pronounce it? It's not Geelong, is it? It's Geelong. I need education. I definitely need that. Greetings from Estes Park, says Joe Holtzman, where mountain lions attack people and kill them. Oh, my goodness. Christiane Price, the mother of the esteemed Olivia Price, who did such a great job.
She did.
Didn't she do a good job?
Yep, she did.
On the commentary for the Rolex Sydney Hobart yacht race. Christiane, Happy New Year to you and your clan. Alan Long, Alex Hayworth, Clark Chapin. Oh, Alex is saying there was noise-canceling foam. I believe he's referring to that bar in Switzerland. Happy New Year to Warren Schasser, to you, sir, down in Oz, and everyone else who's checked in with us. And by the way, I have a video, courtesy of New York Post, of what they say are the 5 best fireworks displays on this past New Year's Eve.
I love this.
Number 1, of course, you all recognize the bridge.
Yes.
In Sydney. Number 2, they claim, there's the London Eye. They said that was a fabulous fireworks display again this year. On the Thames.
It does look good.
Paris. I didn't get my timer aligned properly with the length of this video. It's not a very long video. While we argue about the pronunciation of Geelong or Geelong.
Yes.
Dublin, Ireland. I didn't realize they had such a fancy fireworks display in Dublin.
No.
Our fireworks were shrouded by the fog, from what I hear. People that tried to have a look at them here in San Francisco. Of course, I go to bed at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, well, I saw them on television.
Did you? Yeah, I'm long gone when midnight strikes here. I maybe watched New York's ball coming down at midnight their time, 9 p.m. our time.
Ooh, that's good.
Leah Lance is agreeing the San Francisco fireworks are meh. But we had fun anyhow. And there's Berlin, the Brandenburg Gate. You've been there, Julia. I've been there.
Indeed.
I'm surprised they didn't put Dubai on here. And the Burj Khalifa, that's normally a fabulously good fireworks show as well. But they say those were the top 5 for 25 turning 2026. Now for a few photos from around the world. Mm-hmm. This is a typical New Year's Day exercise. Go to the ice cream shop. This is out on the Coromandel. Have a great 2026, says Richard Gladwell. I miss that country. I miss living in New Zealand. I miss living in Oz. And now they're correcting Mary Longpree. The American is telling me to say Jalan. It's Jalan, isn't it? I'm not even going to try. Richard Gladwell, thank you for sending that photo. Speaking of Australia, Julia, do you recognize that car?
Yes.
Do you recognize this gentleman?
Yes.
There is Pedro Foiling Sailor, a.k.a. Peter Stevenson. He said he had this tucked away for a few years. This is one of my new projects for 2026, and its first drive will be in a couple weeks. Did you see the light? Let me back it up. Did you see the license plate there? Captain Fun. That sounds like Peter Stevenson.
Yes, indeed.
Captain Fun. Nice stuff, Peter. Pedro. This came in. This is the cleanest slide he's ever sent to me. That came in from Ted Ryman.
Well, it's a good one.
Happy New Year with some barnacles or diamonds or crystals or something on the anchor in the 2026.
Yes.
Thank you, Ted, from Cape Town in the Republic of South Africa, sending that one in. This is from the Gillinghams. They were apparently up in London watching the fireworks on well, you just saw the video, part of it. Happy New Year to our Fosey fair winds from the River Thames, and that from Christopher and Jane Gillingham.
Yeah, that's great.
Who went up there. And those photos, I should have blown them up because that's a composite of the 4 photos they sent. Fabulous stuff.
Yeah.
Pindar sent this. Andrew Pindar, who, as you saw, he's a bit under the weather, so we're sad that he's not 100%. But that guy, when he's only 50%, he's got more energy than most people, Julia. Andrew
Absolutely.
Pindar.
Yeah.
A man on the move like a few others of our Fosies around the world. This from the other Andrew, from Mr. Dr. Andrew McIrvin in 5 languages, wishing everybody a happy new year. Feliz Año Nuevo in 2026. That's Andrew, of course. This came from Washington, D.C. I do not believe she was there, but Claire Harrington, the Commodore of the New York Yacht Club, kindly sent this along. Apparently, the Trump administration has, did you see that?
Yeah.
Has decorated the Washington Monument because this is the U.S.'s start of the 250th year from
That's correct.
1776, and there will be celebrations all along the watchtower. See what I did there? All along the monumental year, including a huge tall ship festival in and around New York City, and I believe in the Northeast and maybe even down the East Coast. And New York Yacht Club is playing a pivotal role in that, and Commodore Harrington is as well. She's already been involved in meetings, or so I hear.
Yes.
And it's the possibility that some senior serious people are going to end up at 44th Street in connection with that celebration in and around the 4th of July. So, Claire Harrington, thank you for sending that through. It's a big year here in the States because we also have the World Cup soccer, the FIFA World Cup here. A nice note from down in San Diego from past Commodore of the San Diego Yacht Club, HP Sandy Purdon. Thanks, Tom. Your coverage of the Sydney Hobart was terrific. Your show is setting a very high bar for our sport. Your work and talent is evident. Looking forward to your shows in 2026. That's HP Purdon, better known as Sandy, and Sandy is a real spark plug down. Speaking of spark plugs, he's the one who conceived and puts on that fabulous 4th of July fireworks show called The Big Boom in San Diego Bay. And if you're ever around San Diego at the 4th of July, go there and have a look, because Sandy and his organization have been doing this for, I think, 25 years plus. They raise the money, and they have not 1, not 2, I think 3, maybe 4, maybe even 5 barges from the South Bay, south of Coronado Bridge, all through the Central Bay. And if you're up on top of Point Loma, for example, it's a fabulous show. And Sandy has been heading that up for years and years and years. Claire confirming that, yes, indeed, a huge celebration. Spell that with a Y, Claire. A huge celebration we've been planning for the last 4 years.
Well, that's good.
That is good, isn't it?
Yeah.
John Campbell Bosley. There's a new name. I don't remember seeing you on before, but welcome, Mr. Bosley. Happy New Year to all with a great job. A great job. We do appreciate you. We appreciate everybody. And apropos Sandy's comment, again, everybody who contributes to this show, the so-called Super Fosie, whether they contribute money or whether they're contributing segments, whether they're contributing slides and content and information, they're all producers of this show, and they all deserve the kind kudos from HP Sandy Purdon, Julia.
It's not very many shows who have correspondents worldwide.
Worldwide, indeed. And come on the show at all hours of the night and day. I mean, we do this, for those of you who don't realize this, we do it at 1 o'clock, our time, 1300 Pacific, because they're still awake in Europe, plus 9 to the continent. So that 10 o'clock at night for them, 2200. And they're awake in the next morning in Australia and New Zealand, which is where all of our big viewership is. Some sad news from Bobby Steele, who's our weather guru for the Governor's Cup. We had sad news, our great daily friend, dear friend, Davey Johnson, a.k.a. Half Deck, who has been the captain of a number of yachts, including of late Windward Passage. And Half Deck, who is, he was a man of great appetites. He loved food, he loved to drink, and he loved to party, and was just a raconteur par excellence. I didn't know that, Bobby Steele. Thank you for passing it on. Dave Johnson, sadly, has passed away, better known to many of you, I'm sure, as Captain Half Deck.
Oh, yes.
Geelong, Warren Chaucer is helping as well with that pronunciation.
Geelong,
Thanks again, Sandy Purdon, for your kind comment. And then we have a guy that looks like he's got a World War I helmet on, Julia. That is Happy New Year from the top of the hill on Banff Mountain in the British Columbia, up in Western Canada.
That's
and that,
Jody's.
Of course, is Jody from Australia. And he is from Wanji. I hope we're pronouncing that correctly after all these years. And he and his family are up there skiing in and around Banff. That from
He'll be insufferable when he gets back.
He's always insufferable. What are you talking about, Julia? He's always insufferable.
It's not.
He's fabulous. Hey, before I leave Jody, and I mentioned this to you yesterday. You came down here for a New Year's dinner yesterday, and we were watching the college football games. We've got this big playoff now. We're down to the final 4 teams in the national championship for collegiate football, our American gridiron football, which you and I and others love.
Yes.
Because it gets everybody in the country involved cheering for their college, their university, as long as that uni is still in. Mine's been long gone, but as yours, Stanford. But we saw something unique, at least it was unique for me, on the TV the other day, and that was that ESPN was running on their main channel the game with commentary from the play-by-play guy or gal, and then the color commentator, guy or gal, and that's the normal way that you do live sports, right? Just like Sale GP.
Right.
Well, then ESPN with these college football games, they've got another channel which just has a lot of screens and stats. Not so interesting unless you're a complete and utter football nerd, which I don't think either of us is. But then we found a third channel that had no commentary except the stadium announcer. So we're sitting there watching the game like we're in the stadium.
Yes.
You hear a lot more of the bands playing. You hear a lot more of the ambient sound, but no constant crotonic
fill the air. I have
chatter,
to say something. Yeah.
Yeah, as you say, filling the air from the commentator and from the color person. And it's just the stadium announcer saying, just the facts, ma'am.
Yeah.
1st and 10 on the 30-yard line. So-and-so just ran the ball. And not even, hardly anything. Because if you're watching the game and the graphics are so good now anyway, you know what's going on. So why don't we do that in our sport? Why do we need, or why don't we at least have a channel where you have Jody, and this is inspired by this Jody slide, as we've tried this with a watch party, and just have Jody not blabbing on, doing the whole full-on play-by-play, but just saying little tidbits here and there, like he's the stadium announcer, which he's also done for Sale GP.
Yes.
Why don't we have that instead of that madness that we get from Sale GP? Just the facts, ma'am.
Yep.
Little tidbits and then quiet, ambient sound. And maybe it's not the same out on the water in a sailboat race, but it might be just great if you put in some sound. You hear the water, you hear the boats, you get some mics on the boats, so you have better ambient sound. Anyway, have a look at that. That was really quite cool.
Yeah, and it seems like it's there to stay for a while at least in other situations.
We'll see. I haven't seen any reviews of it, and it's probably been going on, and I just haven't noticed it before.
Yeah.
Well, regardless, Dolly DeVola is saying that the beer companies, he's been researching Canadian beer consumption, that since Jody showed up, beer companies in Canada are reporting record beer sales.
I love it.
Jeff Kitson is agreeing. He said he watched that basic announcer version, and it really is basic. It's by way of the stadium announcer.
Yeah.
Just saying so-and-so carried the ball, so-and-so got the tackle, and the ball is now 2nd and 6 on the 35-yard line or whatever it is.
Which you can see on the screen anyway.
Which, and you, exactly. Okay. Jody or John's commentary. Yeah, John, same thing. Well, we got to work on that. I think that's an idea for 2026. Jody, that's for you. And then we have an AAAA, Julia, the promised AAAA.
Oh, good.
From Alistair. At the top of the show, since it really has to do with New Year's Eve and that huge party he and Tracy had at their home out there in Meetung. I hope we're pronouncing that correctly. And they went sailing. I'm not sure if this was New Year's Day or New Year's Eve day, but he dressed up. What's he look like?
A flame.
A flamer. That's supposed to be a prawn suit.
Oh, okay.
A shrimp suit.
A shrimp suit.
And Alistair said, I always did want to be a prawn star. On his new boat, Saffron.
Yeah.
So, the color's correct. And then he and Tracy went for a sail. And I don't know if this was the 31st or the 1st, but they had a sail. Then they went back up to their house. And look at this as the sun is, I guess, setting. Oh. Beautiful fire out over the front 40 there. And a huge throng. He said we practically had the whole yacht club, the local Meetung Yacht Club over for a few cocktails and some bite to eat on their New Year's Eve. And he said, good day, Tom. Happy New Year, mate. I am now catching up with SI. I talked to him yesterday, I guess. Only one behind now because he's missed a number of shows, but he religiously goes back and watches all the shows, probably scrobbling through, probably in fast forward. But nice stuff. Thanks for the special birthday message a few days ago. I am now in my 8th decade with you. Alistair, that sounds bad. Why don't we just say you're in your 70s now with us? And yes, as a kid, I was always given presents and being told it was, quote, combined birthday Christmas.
Yes.
We mentioned that in the show when we realized his birthday was here in the Christmas season. And I'm sure it scarred me. I hated it. It scarred me for life. You mentioned the King's Cup in, we were pronouncing Phuket.
Never mind.
A couple of shows back, and it reminded me when Tracy and I asked our granddaughter Millie where we were going on vacation. She was so proud of her reading. She must have been hooked on phonics. Had no idea why she caused so much amusement. I think we've aired this video before, Julia.
Where are we going? We're going to fuck it. Where are we going? We're going to fuck it.
Well, what's wrong with that? They're going to Thailand.
Yes.
I think haven't we shown this video before?
Tracy's having a heart attack over there.
Did you film that?
But, it reminded me, when we grew up,
Yes.
the phonics was the deal.
Sure.
You taught kids how to read. You said a B is pronounced ba.
Yeah.
A G is, G long notwithstanding, how you pronounce the letters. And then people sounded out the words based on what they knew about the phonics, how to pronounce the letters, hooked on phonics. And I grabbed that today. And obviously that's come back in vogue.
It's about
You
time.
know that? I mean, all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Different approaches to teaching reading to kids. I understand that's come back in vogue, and we are now all, including Millie, it looks like, is hooked on phonics.
Yes.
AKA Pattaya Beach. Phuket. Fuck it. Jody Shields is chiming in here. He's wishing Alistair a happy birthday. I'm sorry I missed it on the day. I'll buy you a beer when you're next in Wanji. Clark Chabin, just think Alistair would be 106 years old if we counted in base 8. Suddenly 70 doesn't sound too bad. Gordon Smith wants a photo of Phuket.
Well, it's a
Phuket. The H is silent, right? Isn't that how the Thais pronounce it? I don't know, Julie. Okay, that is Alistair. His awesome Aussie anecdote. Isn't it funny that phonics starts with PH, not F?
Yes,
I know. Okay, at the top of the show, Alistair's awesome Aussie anecdote. We'd like to do that. And the Min River.
Yes.
Wider than an historic overall victory. That's the theme. But before we get to that, Julia, what are we celebrating today. The opposite of you.
I don't have no idea.
It's the world opposite of Julia Day.
Oh, Grumpy Day.
The world introvert day. There is such a thing. You're not an introvert by any stretch of the imagination, Julia.
No,
Huh?
I don't think so.
I don't either. It's a day committed to understanding and valuing the exceptional characteristics of introverted people. An introvert person, introverted? I wonder if that grammar is correct. An introvert is somebody who is shy, calm, and likes to invest energy alone instead of frequently being with others. Is there an introvert among the foes of which we know?
Oh, sure. I'm sure there is.
I'm sure there are, but
Now, those are the ones we don't hear from.
Gordon Smith says it's the most miserable day of the year. He's certainly not an introvert.
No.
And I don't suspect most. Jody Shields, yeah, I'm an introvert. Right, Jody.
Everybody believes that.
And Julia, in your introverted self, you would think poorly of me if?
You didn't have a film.
All right.
Happy World Introvert Day. Today we're celebrating the quiet thinkers, deep listeners, and those who shine in the background. Take a moment to embrace who you are and value the unique strengths that come with being an introvert. After the hustle and bustle of New Year's celebrations, January 2nd is the perfect day to relax, reflect, and start the year with a sense of calm. If you're an introvert, take the day to do what you love. Read a book, write in your journal, or simply enjoy some quiet time. And if you're not an introvert, it's a great chance to learn more about the introverts in your life. Let's use World Introvert Day to remind ourselves that it's okay to be different and to appreciate the diversity of personalities that make this world so unique.
Ted Ryman says, I'm just a trovert. I'm just not an introvert, I'm a trovert. Clark Chapin said they tried to throw a party for World Introvert Day, but nobody RSVP'd. Bill Haynes, William Haynes, the introvert sailors are the single-handers around the world sailors. That's interesting.
That's got to be true. I could never do that.
You couldn't?
No.
You have somebody to talk to on your radio.
I know, but
By the way, it looks like they may break the record, the around the world record. They're ahead of the record at Cape Lewin in Australia. Yeah, so we're not going to put that in the show today, but I've been
that's good.
so Davo, so we're going to watch that. Jeff Kitson says, yeah, no introverts here. A lot of type A yacht racers. Okay, well, that's what the...
Perverts.
Not perverts, troverts. That's what makes this world so unique. Happy World Introvert Day to all of you. And to our quick show note about next Wednesday the 7th, not that we're going to carry this, we'll probably tease you some more on Tuesday. But this is the breaking news from 3 or 4 weeks ago in Sail GP that Rockwool, the Danish company, renews their Sail GP commitment to 2032. That's 6 more years. Becomes league's longest standing team partner. But wait, there's more, because there's going to be a big announcement next Wednesday, the 7th of January, or so one hears. We've told you before what that one hears is. And I don't know if anybody remembers it, because I did say.
I was going to say, I thought I heard you say that.
Well, I'm going to give everybody a clue.
Okay.
There it is. There's the clue. And now I'm going to switch it off. That's your clue.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, well, some people will know who that is. Alistair Murray's telling the joke, 2 introverts walk into a bar. One leaves into a room. What's the difference between an introvert and a pervert? One looks at it, one might look into it. Oh, Jody. Jody. That was good. Okay, let's get to our feature today. And this is still, this has been a great race. Again, it's not the largest offshore race in the world. It's not the oldest. The Fastnet is both of those. But here are the winners, the line honors we told you about on Tuesday's show. That, of course, is Master Lock, Comanche, Matt Allen, and James Mayo. Bravo Zulu to them, and they're first to finish. That's line honors. They were first, Law Connect second, Scallywag third. Lucky from the U.S., Brian Earhart's boat fourth. Palm Beach 11, which a lot of us were concerned Mark Richards and co. might not even get out of the Sydney Harbor through the heads because there's so much new stuff on the boat, much of which they took off before the race and went with a more traditional configuration. Celestial, which is Dr. Sam Haynes' boat, he's the current Commodore of the Cruising Yacht Club of Australia Tour, just a top guy. Everybody who knows him well says that. I don't know him well. I know him, but not well. And on down, Callisto, including James Murray's boat from New Zealand, and right on down to Smuggler in the top 10. Then we told you on Tuesday about the Tattersall Cup in the top 10 as it was looking as they had finished. And it did not look like anyone was going to, of the boats still racing, was going to be able to eclipse these top 10 boats, including and especially BNC, MyNet, Leon, the double-hander, Min River, the double-hander second, the traditional old S&S third, Love and War, fabulous boat, fabulously well sailed, won it several times, including with Peter Shipway aboard, and on down that list. Well, we also told you that there was some controversy, as you would say in Australia, some controversy over the use of the spinnaker pole. Here it's being used legally under the racing rules. That is a spinnaker, a symmetrical, or a S-sail as we often call it, meaning both the edges of the sail, this is the luff in this case because it's the windward edge of the sail, and buried behind over here, you can't see it, but will be the leech of the sail. Well, it's symmetrical. And when you jibe, you switch the pole over to the other side, and what was the leech becomes the luff. It's a S-sail, symmetrical sail, a.k.a. spinnaker. And you can have a spinnaker pole up holding that sail out. And they did. And they had a spinnaker. Well, then, coming in the last few miles in the river, in the Derwent, they were using their spinnaker pole to hold a gennaker out. And a gennaker is not a symmetrical sail. And a gennaker is, as you will see here in this picture, being held out again by the spinnaker pole. That gennaker, the luff is always tacked down, in this case to the bowsprit up on the front of the boat. I'll show it. You'll go back and see it's tacked down here in the front of the boat right here on the bowsprit. And those of you who are arguing that that's what made this illegal, sorry, I told you last Tuesday that's not correct. It's not the fact that the gennaker is tacked down to the bowsprit. It's the fact that were using a spinnaker pole on a sail which measures as a spinnaker that is tacked down. You can't do that. And we'll show you the rule in a minute.
Yeah.
So it's confusing, to be sure.
Absolutely.
But they're wing and wing. That's okay if you're using the jib on the deck, what's the difference between a jib and a gennaker? Well, the jib's mid-girth, you go up halfway up the two edges of the sail. If the mid-girth is less than 75% of the foot, meaning the bottom of the sail, it's a jib. And you can use a pole to wing it out, to go wing and wing, as they're doing in this photo. But if the mid-girth, the middle of the sail, is 75% or more than the foot, which is the bottom of the sail, that whole bottom edge, then it becomes a gennaker, and you cannot wing it out like this.
Why?
Under the rules. Well, that's a good question. And Mr. Dr. Andrew McIrvin, head of the IRC, and others are looking into that very issue. Clark Chapin, you've seen on the Super Fuzzy thread, there's been a great discussion.
I have. I lost interest
well,
in the
rules
details.
nerds, though, are fully into it. And
Yes.
And it's a problem that needs to be solved because it is unclear.
No question.
So Alistair Murray says, I've just recruited Matt Allen and James Mayo as Australian Sailing's newest patrons, both great guys. So these are back on who won, were first to finish there. And this is going to get sorted, I believe, one way or another, thanks to the good efforts of people like Andrew McIrvin, our super fuzzy Mr. Dr. Andrew McIrvin. So keep on with this story.
And here's a note from Alistair, who says,
correct protest committee decision, Crutonic rule. Bruce Nelson's telling me it's 60%, not 75%. So if the mid girth is 60% or more than the foot of the sail, okay, thanks, Bruce. Thank you for correcting that. So here is the mid girth, is this kind of dimension across the middle of the sail from this edge over to the other edge. If that is 60% or more than the foot, which is the bottom edge of the sail, then you can't use the pole and go wing and wing like this. And Bruce Nelson, who is a superb yacht designer, Nelson Merrick Yacht Design, and with whom I went to the University of Michigan, he taught me a lot of things in life, Julia.
yes, I'm sure he did.
He was a year ahead of me in school, and I show up as a little wet behind the ear freshman with my blue blazer. And Bruce Nelson was this semi-cocky, very, very good sailor from Long Island Sound who knew the world and knew collegiate sailing. And between the two of us, though, we cleaned up. We had a really good team.
That's great.
But I learned a lot from Bruce, on and off the water. He hates it when I tell the stories in the bar at the San Diego Yacht Club, what he taught me. But back to the story. So people realized that they were doing this, using this pole to wing out a Jenniker, which is not permitted, as we just said, by the rules. And along came the second place boat, Min River. And you see this little red thing back here? People didn't realize that they had code flag B, the protest flag up. And that was confirmed when they got to, there it is again. You see it over here as they're approaching after they finished. And then they get to the dock. And people really didn't realize what was going on. This is Min River, the second place finisher, although the result of the protest, as you all know, will put them in first. Jiang Lin from China. She was born in China, but she resides now in Australia. She's the owner of the boat, Min River. And Alexis Loison, how do you pronounce that in French?
Yeah, Loison.
Is a superb double-handed and single-handed and just superb French sailor. He's from France. I didn't put the FRA in there. But they got back to the dock, and you can still see their little protest flag. I thought I saw it on their backstay. Maybe it's been
It's there.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Where?
Right
in here somewhere?
Yeah, there.
Yeah, I think that's the next. It doesn't matter. They may have already. I guess it is there. I guess it is right there. Anyway, they filed a protest because they could see apparently this boat was going wing and wing with their spinnaker pole on the Jenniker, which is not permitted under the rules. And here is that rule that prohibits it, and it's 55.3A. A headsail clew may be connected, as defined in the equipment rules of sailing, to a whisker pole, provided that a spinnaker is not set. Well, a headsail, by definition, is that 60% thing that we were talking about. It's a jib. It's a tall, narrow jib. Well, you can't do this. Was that a full spinnaker pole or a whisker? Doesn't matter, Alex Kent, because a spinnaker pole becomes a whisker pole when you attach it to the clew, to the lower aft corner of the jib. It's the same thing, a whisker pole and a spinnaker pole.
And did the skipper have any idea that was true?
They apparently did not, and the jury was satisfied in their ruling, which I'll show you now, that they did not intentionally break a rule. And why would you? They're leading
right
by quite a bit, and I think they were just my take on this is they're tired. They've been sailing now in terrible conditions for the first 24, 36 hours.
Yeah.
And she says she never got seasick, but it was really bordering on just seasickness and really rough.
Yeah.
And now they're coming into the finish. And instead of putting that spinnaker up that I showed you in the first slide, which, you got to take the Jenniker down, put the spinnaker up, put the spinnaker pole up, resheath the thing.
Right.
And go maybe how long, you don't know until maybe the wind shifts, and now you got to take that all down, and then you're back to the Jenniker, to the A sail.
Right.
Instead of doing that, they said, well, we'll just wing out the Jenniker, not realizing that is not permitted by this rather obscure, arcane yacht racing rule, which it's been in the book since forever. I remember it decades ago Clark Chapin remembers it from decades ago. We all do. And the jury very carefully, and I think correctly, decided that they had broken this rule. And here's their decision, the full decision. You can see the picture that they took off the television showing that Jenniker being flown off of a spinnaker pole or a whisker pole. The decision says specifically the spar is a device exerting outward pressure on the sheet of the spinnaker. This breaks Rule 55.3. That spar meaning the whisker pole or the spinnaker pole, acting as a whisker pole. And none of the exceptions to this rule apply. And then in 3.2, they say the jury is satisfied that the boat did not deliberately break 55.3. This is based on the report made and the evidence presented. It reinforced by the fact that the crew set the sail in this manner in full knowledge that press and onlookers would be watching. I mean, this is at the end of the race.
Of course.
Sailing Instruction 21.1 allows the jury the option to apply a discretionary scoring or time penalty in lieu of DSQ for an infringement of Rule 55.3. Satisfied that the boat did not deliberately break a rule, the jury has decided to apply such a discretionary penalty. If I had been writing this, I would have added the word such in there, Julia.
Yes.
In assessing the penalty, the jury has ensured that any possible performance gains are accounted for and a proportionate penalty for a rule breach is also applied. So what that means is that they gave them a 5-minute penalty because that's how much they think they may have gained from using illegally the spinnaker pole on the clew of the Jenniker. That's where the 5 minutes comes from.
It wasn't for very long.
And then it was not for very long, and they didn't gain very much, apparently. They didn't think so.
Yeah.
And then the hour was the jury's just, hey, you broke the rules, we got to penalize you something. Could have penalized them 2 or 3 hours or more. And there's been a little bit of debate about whether it should have been an hour or 2 hours or something else. But all in all, I think most people are satisfied that a 1 hour penalty plus the 5 minutes, which is almost de minimis, moved them out of the top spot, moved them in the second spot, and that's it. So that's the jury's decision. The jury is satisfied that the circumstances of this case are comparable to a boat breaking a rule of Part 2, which are the right-of-way rules, and taking a 1 hour penalty as detailed in the sailing instructions. So that's how the hour and 5 minutes was arrived at and added to the elapsed time of the yacht. And this got a lot of attention in the media, understandably. And here is, I looked at all the videos. As you know, I'm just the curator of this show. I go through and look for the best pictures and the best information. Here's the best one. And it's from a mainstream ABC, Australian Broadcast Corp, journalist. Watch this.
I'm here at the Royal Yacht Club of Tasmania in Hobart, where this morning there was a nervous wait to find out the winner of the overall category in the 80th Sydney to Hobart. We now know that New South Wales yacht Min River have been declared the overall winners. And they've actually made some history in the process. Min River is the first ever double-handed yacht, meaning they were manned by just 2 sailors, and the first ever yacht skippered by a woman to ever win the Tattersall Cup. They won the race in quite sensational circumstances, as they actually began the day in just second place. They were about 54 minutes behind the clubhouse leaders at the time, BNC. BNC were the subject of a protest by Min River yesterday, which was then followed by a subsequent protest by the racing committee this morning. Those protests were heard in the yacht club this morning, and ultimately a decision was made to hand down a penalty of 1 hour and 5 minutes against BNC. What that means is that it now falls behind Min River in the handicap standings, and Min River have been declared the winners. It's all quite complicated and quite technical sailing terminology, but it is understood that the breach related to the use of a pole to secure the spinnaker sail during the finish, specifically during the final 2 nautical miles of the 628 nautical mile race.
They've actually used their spinnaker in an inappropriate way, which is perceived as an advantage. They did not deliberately do it. They probably did not understand fully that they were going to break the rule, but it was photographed. And that was at the very end. That's correct. With 2 nautical miles to go. Yeah. After 626 nautical miles, in the last 2 nautical miles.
In terms of the reactions from the two boats, we heard from New Caledonian boat BNC this morning, and they were actually quite gracious and understanding of the jury's decision, although obviously disappointed to miss out on that top spot.
We lose the race for just nothing, but we are really happy of our race. We enjoyed it. We feel like we have done something really special on this race, and that's the principle. We still are. We think for us, we have won the race for us.
We then heard from the two skippers of Min River, who were overjoyed, obviously, but it seemed like it hadn't quite sunk in yet, the reality that they had won the Sydney to Hobart. They said that they never in their wildest dreams thought that they were going to win, and it's all come as quite a surprise.
We did a good strategy, pushing very hard, change a lot of time sails.
Yes, many times sail change.
I think we forget to sleep enough, but at the end it's a crazy happening.
When asked what message she has for other young female sailors around the world, Jiang Lin simply said that if she can do it, they probably can as well. The pair are planning to stay in Hobart for the next couple of days, no doubt celebrating before heading back home.
I thought that this young guy did a fabulous job. He's, I guess, not a sailor. Maybe he is. For the ABC, the Australian Broadcast Corp. Nice report. Good job. And by the way, Dolly DeVola is saying in the chat, full credit to BNC, the boat that got penalized, for declaring they had breached the rule, then showing great sportsmanship after the hearing. Totally agree.
Yes.
Dolly, good point. Because what they did, once they realized there was a protest, once they read the rule, once they realized they had infringed the rule, then they said, okay, we make a declaration of our infringement to the jury and the race committee, which they did do. Then Min River, this is highly technical details, but just to Dolly's point, then Min River withdrew their protest, and the jury, or the race committee rather, filed a protest in response to the declaration from the boat that they had broken a rule or may have broken a rule. Nice stuff.
It was.
Clean, clear, good stuff. So, and Clark is saying he would, there was some back and forth here with Clark and Alex Kent. I will accept their statement that this was the only time they used it. Never ascribe to malice what can be adequately explained by stupidity. Well, it was. They should have known the rules. That rule, as I said, has been in the book for decades.
If you know what it means.
Well, but you should. I mean, if you're now, Gordon Smith and others are arguing, why do we have the rule? Well, that's a good question. And Andrew McGurvin is talking with a number of people about why do we have this rule? Why has it been in the book? And there are probably some historic reasons. At some point, sometime, back probably in the J-boat days, somebody tried to wing out some kind of a big Jenniker-type headsail, and it caused a huge expense that all the other boats were going to have to duplicate in order to stay competitive. And it's probably a cost-related thing. It may be a safety thing. Having those outriggers or having poles out, pushing the corners of sails out to windward or to leeward, may be some kind of a safety issue. J. Frederick Bland saying parachute Jennekers. So I don't know the history of it, but they're looking into it, and I guarantee you that the chairman of the IRC, who is our superfuzzy Andrew McIrvin, is already hard at work on getting this sorted out with Matt Allen, who is a chairman of the Offshore Committee for World Sailing, and I'm sure the rules guys, I know the rules guys are involved in it as well, Julia. So we'll see what happens.
I feel better about it.
And a nice report, again, by this guy. And bravo Zulu to them. They weren't expecting to win, but they did.
Yes.
And let's talk about them for a little bit. Here they are at the prize giving with the CYCA Commodore Dr. Sam Haynes, of course, who was racing in the event himself. Alex Loison, I don't know how to say it in French properly, but he is French. Now, Jiang Lin is the lady. She is Chinese originally, but is living apparently in Australia. She's the owner of the boat. She brought in Alexis to drive or to co-drive, and they're there with Eduardo McLean, who is the Rolex Australia rep. And apparently, this Alexis is a superb sailor. Jiang Lin, she's 60 years old. He's 41, I think.
Wow, she looks great.
She does look great. And Andrew McIrvin, speaking of Andrew, says Loison is a legend. Previously was the first double-hander to win the Fastnet overall with his father in a boat they had for only a few weeks.
Wow.
So some years ago. This year, he won it sailing a new boat from the builder JPK, who is responsible for all these boats, including the boat this Min River boat. Mm-hmm. And Jean-Pierre Calbert is another legend, so says Andrew McIrvin. Richard Gladwell wrote this. He said, 60-year-old Jiang Lin admitted this afternoon, quote, I did not have hopes of winning. You think about all the 100-something boats, 100-something footer boats, all the big boats and the superb sailors out there, not in my wildest dreams that I think this would come true for me. So no, I didn't think about it. The best would be winning our division, which of course they did. It hasn't sunk in yet. Maybe I wake up and say, oh, that was a dream. It is especially for me, definitely. It is special for me, definitely, so I'm very happy. Loison added, quote, no, I did not expect to win, but we had a good strategy of pushing very hard. We had a lot of sail changes. Many times.
Many times.
Which is what wins and loses offshore races often. I mean, it's just not only the boat, but it's the crew work.
Yeah.
We forgot to sleep. It's crazy to win. We are proud of ourselves. Nice sentiment. And here is an interview that Crosby Lorimore did with them. And I don't know if he did this interview before or after the protest decision. It was hard for me to tell. But regardless, a nice interview to get a better feel for the two of them.
Jiang Lin and Alexis Loison, that was an epic race. Jiang, this is your 5th Hobart, is that right?
That's right, yes.
And you really did choose quite a person to be co-skipper with, because in case anybody else doesn't know, Alexis Loison, I must get that right, won the Rolex Fastnet race, two-handed this year. I think you won La Solitaire du Figaro as well. 19th attempt?
Yeah.
Pretty amazing. And then here you are, trying to get IRC overall, and it's pretty close, isn't it? First of all, Jiang, just tell us a little bit about the race.
First couple night was a bit tough, so my focus was not to be sick, and I succeeded.
Well done.
Yep.
And what was the toughest bit about, apart from big seas?
For two, I think big seas, actually.
Being sick was the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Cool. Alexi, tactically, this is a really complicated race, and of course the river can very often decide it as well. What were the toughest bits of this race for you?
A lot of times we have tactics all the race, since the start to the finish here, and we push really hard to always find a good solution. And that was very close with other boats, with some comebacks and some. So no, we are very happy to this performance. Yes.
And you know the guys just two down from you as well, don't you? Michel Quentin and Yann Rigal.
Yeah. He's one of my best friends. I sail two seen Hobart with Michel with this boat.
Jerry Trenceau?
With Jerry Trenceau the first time, and with Michel as the skipper on honor the second time. And I sail with Michel a lot of time, like Groupama race, New Caledonia, on island, and some we are friends. Since 10 years, I spent more Christmas with Michel than my family because I am here every year. So yeah, you know Michel and Yann since many years, and I am very happy for us because for them because they're training a lot, and it's a nice story to finish like that.
Absolutely. And just on the race in the river, when you're doing 2 knots and you know how much is in it, this is pretty tough, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. We load a lot of post report to know where is BNC Léon on the other boat also. After the finish, we don't know our place yet, but we know we did a good performance. We are sure of that.
And Jiang, you must have learned a great deal about sailing from your various co-skippers with Emery Belloir and others as well. This must have been very special for you, yeah?
Of course, I think that's one decision that I made is always choose the best co-skipper there is.
Good work. Guys, got anything?
Yeah, just obviously the front of the handicap standings at the moment are all double-handed yachts. Is it good to see that category and the two-person teams getting a little bit of time in the limelight in this year's race?
Yes, definitely. Yes, make a change.
What do you like about doing it as part of a two-person team as opposed to part of a larger crew?
More challenge. Oh, keep you busy. You know, that's something I like about. Yeah.
And when you were coming up the river and you knew that it was close, was there a point where you thought you might have a chance, or I guess how high were your hopes of potentially claiming the victory?
I didn't think that much, to be honest. I was hoping to hope for more wind. Where the wind come from, please give me a bit more wind. That's all I'm thinking about.
Alexis, there's a lot goes on in the planning for this, so presumably you're looking at this race well in advance of it and just working out the options with the wind and the forecast that's coming, yes?
Sorry, I don't understand.
So you had to do a lot of planning before the race to work out how the forecast would play out, is that right?
Yes, because it's not my own country. So it's my sixth Hobart. So now I have a routine, but yes, it's always different. There is a lot of current, strategy, the wind. Sometimes we choose less wind because there is stronger wind. So it's particular, but I love this race, and I hope to be back next year too.
Fantastic, and well done too. Well done, Jiang. Fantastic result looking like here. And also, Alexis, what a brilliant year. Well done. Congratulations. Thank you very much indeed. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, so now that we've seen this, and thanks again to Crosby Lorimer about Caddy Media, we've seen this. It was clearly before in fact, you saw the protest flag. There's a lot of chat about that being a Ronstand protest
I saw that.
flag that they snapped on their backstay. Well, they are friends. This is another good sports story because there's the guys that would have won. They're on the left, Jan Riegel and Michel Quinton. Hey, he pronounced it Quinton, but Jan is from France, although he's really from Tahiti, but Tahiti is French, is a French province, state, whatever it's called. And Michel is from NCL. Do you know what that Olympic code is? New Caledonia.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, in fact, I was thinking about, we know sailors in New Caledonia.
New Caledonia. So there are the four of them together after the fur has flown and after the decisions are over. And apparently they had a double-handed dinner, either last night or the night before, of all the teams that were double-handed teams. And I'm sure there was some glasses raised to both these teams in particular. Mm-hmm. And bravo Zulu to them for apparently being such good friends and burying the hatchet, so to speak.
Right.
Nice stuff. Here is the Rolex, the final video from Rolex wrapping this whole 80th edition of the Sydney to Hobart, wrapping it up.
Dramatically changeable weather, brutal seas, relentless tactical decision-making. This is the ultimate test of skill, resilience, and resolve.
These races that Rolex supports ultimately acts as something that really drives the sport of sailing.
From first-time competitors to 30-plus year veterans, the 80th edition of the Rolex Sydney Hobart certainly lived up to expectations.
This is my 33rd race, and every race really is different.
Weather conditions are so extreme. You can go from having complete storms to nothing.
The first 2 days with the big waves, strong winds, and a little bit of everything, but big challenge.
The first 24 hours I was like, I don't think ocean racing is for me, but one of the nights I woke up and I had a shift at 4 a.m. and the dolphins are going past in the bioluminescence, and I was like, yeah, this is pretty good.
When you're racing, you don't really take a time to reflect on what's going on, but having spent last night and this morning, something of, wow, what a thing to have done, you know?
Completing the race is an achievement in itself, but winning is an entirely different challenge. The handicap system means commitment, skill and strategy are required to win the coveted Tattersall Cup. An early lead held by last year's winner Celestial slips away when a fresh northerly offered thrilling downwind sailing for the smaller boats. History looked set to be made as a group of double-handed yachts threatened the lead like never before. In a remarkable turn of events, the double-handed team aboard Min River claimed the overall win, the first ever by a female skipper.
We never even think about we're going to win overall. Think about all those other boats, all very good sailors and performers. I hope that more women can believe in themselves, in this sport. And that if you try high enough, the dream can come true.
This concludes the 80th edition of the Rolex Sydney Hobart Yacht Race.
Yeah, Ed Worley, Rolex videos are the best, top notch.
Absolutely.
Dolly DeVola. Michelle is an Olympian in windsurfing. And yes, and that's why NCL, it is a department of France, but it has its own status. Lance Burke, thank you for looking that up for us, but it has its own status, NCL, New Caledonia, as an Olympic governing body for that little province. So they actually get to send an Olympic team, like the U.S. Virgin Islands, which is part of the U.S.
Right.
But they have their own Olympic code and their own Olympic team.
Right.
And that works in a number of historical ways and reasons. Pedro Foiling, sailor, sorry I'm late. Do we know who won the International Farnarkling Final? There's another story for another day, Julia.
Yes.
But I have to ask the Fozy one other thing here as we switch to the cover slide. Where in Australia, this is a bit of a trick question, who among the Fozy know where in Australia is the Min River? And what is the Min River? Moon River.
Yeah.
Min River, wider than a mile.
Right.
Watching you in style. I'm crossing you in style someday. Da-da. Da-da-da. Where is the Min? Now they're all Googling like crazy. I can hear their fingertips clicking.
We know that.
We know it because we had to look it up.
No.
You came in here and you said, where is the Min River? That was a good question, and it never occurred to me, this being Geography Illustrated half the time or some of the time.
Yes.
Well, look, nobody's got a comment. Nobody has looked this up. Rick Bannerow.
Oh, there we go.
Rick Bannerow. Hooray for Rick. Min River is in China, not Oz, a tributary to the Yangtze. Jody Shields, it's in every pub. It's where the toilet rejoins the beer taps. J. Frederick Bland, somewhere near a billabong. Steve Atkins had it right. I thought it was in China. So, yes, indeed. And I have looked this up, as you know, Julia.
Yes, I know.
Just before we went to air. And the Min River, which is Minjiang, I wonder if she is named after the Min River. Because it's the formal name of the Min River is Minjiang. Minjiang. Refers to two major rivers in China. One is in Fujian province, the largest river there, flowing through the capital, Fuzhou, to the East China Sea, known for transport and scenery. The other is in the Sichuan province, a major tributary of the Yangtze River. Min River is in China. Ted Ryman knew it. Who is Dr. Stephen Curry's Romer? 9316. Welcome to the show.
Yes, indeed.
Doctor, give us, if that's your real name, welcome. We appreciate that very much. Okay. We got the Coaching Corner with John Emmett is up next because he also is talking about the rules on his walkabout in front of the yacht club, the Royal Yacht Club of Tasmania.
Yeah.
John Emmett's Coaching Corner.
Hi, Tom, Julia, and all the Fozy. So the topic of today's Coaching Corner is the rules, which I'm sure you agree are a necessary evil. Otherwise, I guess, to be extreme, you could just stick an outboard on the back and go straight head to wind and, win the race that way. But at the same time, there's got to be a little bit of a balance because the way it works is it should be something that affects performance, and it should be clearly defined so that people don't make accidental mistakes. An interesting one we had at the Australian Ilka Nationals, for example, some of the booms were marginally too long, and it was quite stressful for young sailors seeing their booms having, I guess, 2-3 millimetres of aluminium shaved off the end and then the plug put back. But this is obviously part of the rules and part of being a one design class. Just recently finished the Sydney Hobart, and I think these sort of races have actually been decided, as it were, in the protest room quite a lot recently, and that's something I think we would like to get away from. Certainly when we look at Olympic Games, we're going to have this 52-minute window where you've got to get the racing in, the prize giving, and people need to very clearly know who's won as they come across the line. And you can't do that in a protest room. In fact, I do wonder if there's a possibility, and I think somebody else suggested this, for on the water jury. So if people get seen creating infringement, there could be some sort of penalty done there and there, 720 or a stop or whatever, so you don't end up having this decided whether it's 55-minute penalty or 1 hour and 5-minute penalty or whatever it's. So I think that's an important thing to think about, because rules are a big part of our sport, and it's actually one of the things I've tried to do short videos about, but it's proved very difficult to break rules down in isolation to under 60 seconds. And for participation, it is a necessary evil, because if you go out on the water racing as a beginner, you don't know the winner, the rules, you could end up having a collision. And we all want to end the race with the same amount of joke as we started it. But there we go. Comments always welcome, and with the time difference, unfortunately, it's quite unlikely I'll make the show. But you never know. Sail fast, sail safe, and keep having fun.
Okay, thanks, John. And a lot of comments, a lot of back and forth about rules. J. Frederick Bland saying, oh, geez, a rule is a rule. Otherwise, you get peer pressure to not protest at all just to get along. But yeah, we got to have rules. But I think we all agree they need to be simple and transparent and understandable, not only for the sailors, but for the general public.
Yes. I think that the jury did a fairly good job of that in this case. They took into consideration.
I think most people are satisfied. I think you're right, Julia. Clark Chapin saying, on the water, judging and umpiring along with two-turn penalties have really minimized the number of protests these days, to the point where often the protest committees at large events end up with 0 hearings. Indeed.
Well, that's great.
And there, now we know who Stefan is, Dr. Stefan of Western Australia. He's an ILCA master sailor, so some of you Fozy will know him. Welcome, sir. Legend category since a fortnight ago, training for Australian Masters in Port Stephens early February, where no doubt you will meet John Emmett and others.
Good. Nice.
Bravo Zulu. And Lance Burke here in San Francisco saying, as a member of the Rules Advisory Union, I'm sure Tom needs to protect his livelihood. Well, I've not been a member of the Rules Advisory Union in a long time. But I did talk with, texted with Richard Slater, who was on the jury.
Yeah.
And he said, look, that sail was a spinnaker, and the rules are clear. You can't put a whisker pole on the clue of a spinnaker or a gennaker, whether it's an A sail or an S sail. And we all know that. And why that rule is in the racing rules is the question everybody's asking. Why is it in the class rules or the or in the equipment rules of sailing? They're going to get through all that. But Ed Worley may have pointed it out. He said, I made an almost off-the-cuff comment. Well, it wasn't off-the-cuff comment about, there must have been some historical reason why.
Yeah.
And he's saying that he thinks that Mike Vanderbilt, Commodore Vanderbilt, back in the J-boat era in the 30s, was experimenting with a pole to either corner of the spinnaker.
Uh-huh.
And maybe that's where this rule originated, to stop that, because that would have been expensive. It would have, you got to put 2 poles up. You got to have 2 poles on the boat. And I talked with John Sangmeister at some length here the other day, and he said, the thing that's killing our sport is the cost, the ever-increasing cost of participation, especially because of equipment and sales and so on. And anything we can do to hold down cost is good.
Yes.
Is necessary. And if this is an issue that, just let people do whatever they want without restrictions, you're going to end up with an arms race.
Yes.
And that we don't want either.
No.
So Okay, enough about all that. Thanks, John Emmett, for your coaching corner. John Emmett, sailing, get to the front of the fleet. No doubt we'll be discussing this all further, including the topic of umpiring, which some crouton led a group of people
Yes.
to put umpiring into our sport back in 87 and 88.
And almost every racing team at the end of a race thanks.
Well, and now I just, when we did that, I thought it was match racing, never imagining that it would be in team racing and fleet racing at the Olympics and Sail GP professional sailing. Everything's umpired now, and maybe the Sydney Hobart will be umpired too in future. Who knows? Limit the equipment, not its application, Gordon Smith says. Well, I think that's part of the discussion that needs to be had. John Emmett, thank you very much for your coaching corner. And reminder to everybody, we are still pushing. And Magnus the Magnificent had another post about pushing for Paralympic sailing in 2032. We got to keep on that and ideally get sailing back into the Paralympics full stop across the board in future events, not just as a demonstration event in Brisbane. But you may have to start somewhere, and if we can get it in as a demo event in Brisbane, that would be a good start.
Yes.
Min River, wider than a mile. What happened, Julia, on this day in history? On the 2nd of January, 1843.
1843.
Just before AC0. 8 years before AC0.
Quite a bit before. Yeah.
8 years, 1851, just 8 years. There's your first clue. Does anyone know who that is?
No.
He wasn't a sailor as far as I know. However, he wrote something, produced something that is sailing related. Where's my banjo, Tom? Well, out in the front hall here in the reception here at the Beach Street Yacht Club is a banjo and a couple of guitars and a bass and others. Charles Dickens, no, good guess. J. Frederick Bland, not Charles. You can see here in the comments, Charles Dickens, no. Looks a little Dickensian, Dickens. Looks a little bit like Dickens.
Thank you.
Alistair Murray got it. That is Wagner. Primarily known for operas. Didn't I have a lower third? There it is. Wilhelm Richard Wagner from Germany, 1813 to 1883. Didn't live all that long. Alistair, he lived as long as you've just lived, and I've lived. 70 years old. Is that right? Yeah. 1813 to 1883, and knowing the name, most of you will also know that he was primarily known for his operas. Unlike most opera composers, he wrote both the libretto and the music for each of his stage works. His life was characterized by political exile, turbulent love affairs. Sounds like us, Julia, or me anyway.
Yes.
What? No, yes. I'm teasing. Poverty and repeated flight from his creditors. Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
Now, do you recognize that?
Well,
do you recognize that?
I recognize the shape of it.
Alan Long says he looks like an angry white guy. That is Disney's Flying Dutchman prop, of the ghost ship Flying Dutchman, used in Pirates of the Caribbean. And, of course, that was a sponsor of Kayard's Round the World team. And it's moored at Castaway Cay. You know where that is? That's in the Bahamas at the cruise ship terminal down there. Still there, apparently. Set of the Pirates of the Caribbean. Alex Hayworth is very smart. He's chimed in here with a couple of great comments. Wassa. So, yeah, the Flying Dutchman. And, of course, the Flying Dutchman was the name of one of Wagner's two most popular operas. A specter ship popularly believed to haunt the waters around the Cape of Good Hope down there with Ted Ryman. The legend has several variants, but the commonest is that which declares that the captain of the vessel, Vanderdecken, was condemned by his blasphemy to sail around the Cape forever, unable to make a port. In the Dutch version, the skipper is the ghost of the Dutch seaman von Straten. The appearance of the Flying Dutchman is considered by sailors as ominous of disaster. It's amazing how many people have claimed to have seen this ghost ship. The German legend makes one Herr von Falkenberg the hero and alleges that he is condemned to sail forever around the North Sea on a ship without helm or steersman, playing at dice for his soul with the devil. Sir Walter Scott says the Flying Dutchman was originally a vessel laden with bullion. A murder was committed on board, and thereafter the plague broke out among the crew, which closed all ports to the ill-fated craft. The legend has been used by Wagner in his opera Der Fliegende Hollander, the Flying Dutchman, Julia.
Yeah.
It was on this date in 1843 that the Flying Dutchman premiered in Dresden.
Lovely.
Huh?
Lovely.
Sailing connection?
Yes.
And another sailing connection. Do you recognize that yacht?
Oh, no. I should. Compensation.
See who in the chat gets it first. I used to race this class. You see that I'm guessing you turn around. Steve Atkins is great. Commodore Atkins, the Madison Beach Club in Connecticut. That, Commodores, ladies and gentlemen, Alistair Murray says FD. Greg Phillips says FD. Did it ever get to the big lake they call Gitchagumi? FD, Flying Dutchman is that class. It was an Olympic class from 1960 to 1992.
A long time.
Was it named after the ghost ship? Was it named after the Wagnerian opera? Julia? What's your best guess before you spill your coffee there?
I would say, I don't know.
Okay, here's the answer. Design and reputation reinforce the name. The name, this is according to ChatGPT, and how would you know? The name wasn't just poetic, it turned out to be accurate. It was a long, low freeboard dinghy, 20 feet, extremely powerful. That huge Genoa was a pain in the ass. Extremely powerful and fast for its era. And not only that, but remember the old Thunderbirds, when the Thunderbird first came out and how low slung it was, or the Stingray, some cars like that. Not only are they fast, but they look even faster because they're so low slung, they're low freeboard. Well, the FD looked super fast. It looked great on TV, as does the Star. Why we ever kicked it out of the Olympics? Well, it was complicated. It was technically difficult, and it was expensive. Expert handling was required, and it was known for being technically demanding. In the 50s and 60s, the FD was considered almost otherworldly compared to other dinghies, much like the ship of legend. And apparently the Dutch guys that designed the FD named it the Flying Dutchman after the legend of the ghost ship.
Good.
I can tell you're impressed.
I am. I've heard the name of the ship for a long time and didn't know that.
Lance asserts that the 505, the 50 is just as fast and more fun to sail. I'm not so sure about that. It's certainly fun to sail, as is the 50. Okay, enough of that. That's what happened on this day in history. In 18, you could have survived there?
I don't know.
In 1843, which gets us, I said it'd be a short show. Well, it is. It's shorter than our usual 2 hours, an hour and 23 minutes into the show. Julia, we're looking here now at the last leg, and I promised the video from World Sailing, the last leg to Gloucester. Of course, let me back that up. I didn't do a proper setup. This video came out, and see, I'm pushing the buttons too quick. And this video came out today from World Sailing, and it's their recap of the year 2025.
If you hear, if you listen, the boat speaks, really.
one now.
Team Holson, PRB also.
Oh, they are so sharp. This is when we are becoming the hunters.
Anything is possible. It might require a little bit or quite a lot of imagination at times, and you may need a rather large army to help, and you might have to do things differently, but if you can dream it, you really can do it.
Bravo Zulu, World Sailing. I thought it was
good,
wasn't it?
Yes.
And I can't think of anybody that was left out. There probably was somebody that we could sit here and nitpick.
I thought I heard Kohlbrauer.
She was in there.
Yeah.
She was. Well done, Julia, that you heard her while you're getting your Kleenex sorted out there.
Sorry about that.
Well, no worries. If you had a proper executive producer, there'd be a box of Kleenex right there within reach. You wouldn't have to be wheeling around the studio here to get your Kleenex. That reminds me, Julia, we are to the point of the year where as this is our first show of 2026, by the end of this month, we like to have our Person of the Year.
Yes.
Speaking of Kohlbrauer, who was our Person of the Year 2025. Mm-hmm. And we will start into that process in earnest next week because we get nominations. The Super Fozy weigh those nominations, so we have a little vote.
Yep.
And we elect the Person of the Year. It was Kohlbrauer last year, our first ever Sailing Illustrated Person of the Year. Not just the greatest performance by a sailor, but we hope it's a yacht racer and a good performing yacht racer, but somebody who has contributed some magnificent way to our sport as well.
Yes.
And not a negative Person of the Year like Time Magazine sometimes does, where, they had Putin or Hitler or I can't remember others. We want somebody who is positive, who's a great yacht racer, great sailor, and is positive for our beloved
of which
sport.
Kohlbrauer is a good example.
Kohlbrauer is a perfect example. Open and close with Magnus's Sailing Stars. So, Kayard, this year for sure, says Jonathan Shore. Who else will be nominated besides Paul Carroll? Well, Jazz Turner might be nominated, as somebody Gordon Smith said above. Others may have ideas, but we will start that process in earnest next week. And I'll lay that all out for you, what we did. I think it worked pretty well last year.
It did.
And then we'll announce that at probably our last show of the month. Give us a month to sort through all that, but we'll see how that all goes. Julia, you ready for the D block here? Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. And here's the first one. You can read it if you want.
I still remember 2025. It was like yesterday.
That came from Ed Worley. Okay. And this, the Drinking show with a sailing habit. A negative person sees the glass half empty. A positive person sees it half full. A sailor adds 2 shots of rum, 2 ice cubes, and says,
"Cheers."
Cheers. That was Magnus the Magnificent sent that one in, Julia. And that's all I've got for today, except for Blake Middleton's, the one we always close with. All the smartest people sail. And then you have a napkin that was sent over by our friends at the St. Francis Yacht Club.
Yes, which says...
Hold it up to your camera so they can see it.
Yeah, this is a useful cocktail napkin.
From New Year's Day. Or New Year's Eve, I guess.
Yeah. Forecast for tonight. Alcohol. Low.
Can you read it backwards?
Low standards. And poor decisions.
Do you go out on New Year's Eve?
Of
course. Did you used to? I mean, were you a big New Year's Eve person?
No.
I thought you told me you used to spend it in bed with a bottle of champagne, or was that New Year's Day?
That's the longest day of the longest night of the year.
So the December solstice, you would spend the day in bed with a bottle of champagne with your favorite Commodore.
Yeah. Let's announce that to the world. God.
Well, he's long gone, and no one will remember this.
Who needs you? And then you gotta go like and have a friend.
What's your favorite saying? Why have a simple sailor when you can have the Commodore? What's that saying?
Why fool around with a weekend sailor when you can have the Commodore?
Well, exactly. And you are the Commodore, so yeah. Ben Nichols, good luck, John Emmett in Tasmania at the Oceania Ilka Championships. Alan Long replying to Clark, I'm thinking John Emmett falls into this category. That was fun again. Alistair Murray saying thanks to everybody. Thank you, Alistair. Gordon Smith replying to Clark Chapin, well, I like to nominate the winner, so someone should nominate Paul Cahard. Yeah, I think Cahard is an obvious nominee. I mean, he's...
yes, and lots of things have come in this last year, too.
Ryman saying, excellent first show of the year, and on and on and on. Thanks, everybody. Thanks to Blake Middleton, who sent us long ago this shot, and we like to keep this one in as our last meme of, we'll continue, I guess, for this year. All the smartest people sail. Julie, we're to the finish line, and you like to say...
Yes. Let's start the year out right by liking and following and sharing.
Comments are welcome even in replay. And we so appreciate those of you who give us $1 or $2 or more per month via Patreon. Become a patron, patreon.com/join/Sailing Illustrated, so we can pay for the equipment necessary to keep this show on the road.
Yes.
To keep us on the air and all of the streaming costs and so on. That's all we use your contributions for, is to keep the show going. And we appreciate very much your support. And we also appreciate those who give us audio, video, and images for each and every show, including and especially today's show, Julia, the first show of our 10th year. That's hard to believe.
It is. We got 900 coming up in a minute.
Well, yeah, it's just a number, though, right?
It is, but so is 10 years.
Another 3 shows. Julia, thank you very much indeed. Thank you, everybody. We hope to see you on Tuesday, same time, same channel. In the meantime, have a great weekend wherever in the world you are, and go sailing. Sail fast, sail safe, and have fun. Ciao for now.